Okay, welcome everyone. We have two doors, so you can come in either one. I'm not sure there was a class before us. When I came in, there wasn't anyone in here, and there wasn't one coming out. So I think we have this for the last time period. So please do come in. But as you notice, the doors are in the front, so try to get here as best you can, a little bit early so we can all get seated in. We'll try to just, as people come in, just let them come in and we'll make it work. I'm Michael Littlecrow, and one of the things I want to, especially on my email, if you leave out the little, actually my last name is Littlecrow, it's got a space in it, 2 words but one name. But if you leave out the little, it goes to somebody else on campus who usually doesn't check his email, he's got other people checking his email. Unfortunately, they know if the email's about math, they'll usually send it to me. Otherwise, it'll go to, But I guess if you don't like what I'm doing, you can just take this out and you can complain to somebody about me. So, but anyway, actually, Dr. Crow is one of the reasons I came to ASU for the way he looks about education and such. So, just a little bit about myself. I've been teaching for about 24 years. I taught for 6 years at Oregon State University in the Educational Opportunities Program. I was at Scottsdale Community College in 2004, so about 14 years there, and I came to ASU in 2018. Primarily because I was also wanting to work on a doctorate, and if I work here, I get a waiver, and so the tuition was, even the pay's a little bit lower over here, the tuition waiver, it all evened out, and it's been a great place. And I just was thinking of this particular room. I was at a conference here maybe 8 years ago in this building. I just felt like there was a lot of energy here, but I hadn't gone down here, and it's realizing everybody's walking on our heads up there, but we'll deal with that. So it's a nice place to be. We're in brief calculus, which is one of my favorite classes to teach, primarily because before I 24 years in teaching, but before that I was in financial planning, mortgage loans, business, marketing. Actually, I did the marketing part. Come on in. And applied my mathematics. I taught high school for 1 year, and I was too young, I think, and anyway, the students ran the class, and it wasn't for me. Partly because the way I was trying to teach was the way they said I had to teach, and it wasn't me. So I wasn't having fun. I wasn't doing good. So I got away from it. But then after about 13 years in the financial planning, I came to a sort of a fork in the road. And I was studying to get my Series 7s. I know there's probably some of you in finance. How many of you know what a Series 7 is? Stocks and bonds. And I started doing that. It was interesting. I had gotten on with a good employer. He in Corvallis, Oregon. He made about $150,000 a year before I came with him, and then working together, he hired me to do a lot of the marketing part, the inside stuff. Set up his appointments for him, get him to his appointments, put the sales pitch together. He was good at the sales pitch. I was good at putting the pitch together, but I wasn't really good at giving it, because one of the things I did is I talked too much. And after the sale was, he watched me a few times. He says, "You had the sale about 30 minutes ago, but all you did is spent this last 30 minutes trying to talk them out of the sale." And so I wasn't a salesperson. But anyway, he did well. He got his income up to about $500,000, and he kept going with it, and he's now got like 3 or 4 condos in Hawaii, as well as a couple buildings in Corvallis, and he did real well. But one of the things I was getting into is that we became successful at helping working class people become, actually some of them became fairly wealthy. A couple of, in Oregon we have a thing called timber, and so the sawmill and stuff, so we had this guy who owned a smaller sawmill, but we worked with him, and anyway, he got up, and so anyway, and towards the end we were helping wealthy people stay wealthy, which there's nothing wrong with that, but it wasn't as exciting anymore. So I came back to education, and my part of education is helping people who struggle with math to learn math, because actually I almost dropped out of college because of math. So I'm not your math teacher that says, oh, I just love math and this is why I teach it. I struggled with math. I teach it because I may be able to help you if you have any struggles. If you don't have struggles, I can still help you. But it was a professor at Portland State University who let us know that he had just been diagnosed with dyslexia. The semester I was taking calculus for the second time, and with his help I got through it. It all started making sense. So that's why I like the calculus, because it's also the area where I did a switch. I just had to think of things differently. So there's two parts of this. You're all probably, how many of you are business majors? If there's any hands that aren't up here, actually a few of you might be in computer science, right, or something, but you probably, the reason you're taking this version of calculus is you're in the business field. And again, I've got a brother who owns a business down in Houston, Texas, and he's been very successful as well. So and I enjoy business part of it, okay, especially the marketing, all that kind of stuff. But then the other part is the calculus is where a lot of students will hit a wall, because calculus is a different type of math. It's the mathematics of change. But it's also a very important part of math, because with it, we are now able to calculate things, and we are able to see things as they're changing and where they're going, not where they are or where they've been, but we get that data and then we're able to make those predictions. And those are the types of things I was doing when I was putting my proposals together. You know, I could look at this thing and I would do the math part, and no one else could. At that time, it was in the 90s, I would make $100 an hour, which at that time, I mean, it's still a good salary, but it's because the other agent who was very good at sales, he couldn't even work a calculator, and he didn't want to touch math. So I would do the math for him, and I would make him think it took me half a day, and it might take me an hour, but I didn't want him to know it was that easy. But so when you know math, you're able to see things differently, put different ideas forward. So about this class, first start with the syllabus a little bit. We've got our information here, we've got the Canvas course. We need you to get registered for WebAssign. So this is where our homework is it's all done online. And I looked earlier today, there was about 11 of you. That was like midday, so maybe some of you else have gotten registered. If you go there, you just need it's all online, so you don't even have to go to the bookstore. There's a code in here somewhere, right? We'll go over this stuff. I'll just find that code.
I think it might have been right at the top.
That's my problem. Okay, thank you. I went right by, here, it's right here. It's also someplace else, but this is a good place. So you put in this code, it puts you in the course, and then you're able to do the homework, and so we'll talk about that. They have made a few changes. The other thing is this class, I was teaching this class right when we went on COVID, what was that, 2020, right in the middle. We went on spring break, we didn't come back. So I also have a lot of online stuff because I taught it that semester, I taught it the semester after. So you're going to see in the Canvas course, I've got most of the lectures, if not all of them, are already pre-done. So you have those, and I'll sort of organize them a little bit better for this particular class. So those are available to you. Doesn't mean I'm going to come here and not do anything. Say, oh, just watch the videos. We'll do the same things here, so we'll kind of have today's. And I am recording today's session. I do a screencast. So whatever's on the screen up here is there, and it's recording the audio. So in the event that you aren't able to be at class, you'll be able to at least see what we did in class and go there. And then we've also got the resources from the previous time, which should fit pretty well as well. We've got our schedule. So today we're getting into limits. It's actually, it's a fairly small concept, so let's see, we go till 7:15. We'll kind of ease into things maybe in the next 10-15 minutes, figure out what we're doing. We're going to have 3 exams, and before each exam we'll have a review. So I think we'll go over there's listed below the homework's worth 10%, so you do a bunch of homework to figure out how to do the things. Should be able to get 100% on those. We'll get you through that. We'll have a review session, and I have a review quiz in Canvas, which is multiple choice. So that gives you an option to kind of get through and kind of see what test type questions are going to look like. The syllabus was handed to me, and so I do make some changes, but there may be some that I don't. Sometimes the tone of a syllabus is a little authoritarian, and I don't like authoritarian, so just bear with me if it, if it says it's mandatory, like the word mandatory. I don't like that word, so I don't use that word. So if you see the word mandatory, you have to do this or have to do that, ignore it, because I don't use it, it's somebody else. So we'll get you through the homework. The reviews will, 10-15%, and then the exams are the rest. So we'll have 3 exams during the semester with the final exam that is cumulative. Okay, and that's all kind of listed out here. And we'll probably, the nice thing is they got it so we do about one section per night. So we don't have to rush too much. Some of them are connected, so we'll see how our timing goes, but they do get it. I've set it up that the due dates are always Sunday night, so we go over the week, and I got thinking maybe I should, my other class, I think I moved them to Monday night because we don't have class till Tuesday, so I might do that. If need be, we can. But if you just try to keep on track with what we're doing each week, we'll be good. If you get behind, we'll make it work. Yes?
Do you drop like one of the lowest scores or anything like that?
They're really critical, say everyone has to do the homework. What I do is a little different. I do look at things holistically. So I will look at your progress over the semester. And while, again, there's a coordinator that says we have to do certain things, I do that. But actually, when I go for grades, I will also take a look, and if you've made improvements, I'll make sure that something that was low in the beginning especially doesn't bring you down from where you ended up getting. So I do take a look at that. And it's nice having a comprehensive final, because if you didn't do well on the first test, I can see, well, you did much better on that part in the end. And again, coordinators, I let them come up with their rules because they have their committees and they do their things and they tell us what we're going to do. But at the same time, if you did really badly on the first exam, but by the final exam you do well on that section, I'm going to take that as I'm going to make sure that you're up in there. And I don't like to argue with anyone, but we'll make sure that your grade on your transcripts represents that your level of knowledge, right? And so we'll make it work. We'll make it work. Okay. And so we've got, about 16 weeks together. We've got our final exam is on Thursday night, which we're already, but it's a little bit later because they do a group final. And so we'll get through all of that. Let's see. Oh, yeah, here it is. So we've got our 3 exams. Those are scheduled. If you're going to miss one of them, if you can let me know in advance, we can make arrangements if something comes up on that night. And, if emergency, does anyone know what a definition of an emergency is? An emergency is something that when it happens to you, you're not thinking about math class. You're not thinking, is he going to let me retake that test? That's an emergency. If you're thinking, oh man, I got this test, that's probably not the emergency. But when something happens, and I've had those things where you just don't think about anything else, you go do that. You take care of your business, right? Family member, whatever you need. That's an emergency. Okay. Contact me when you get a chance, but take care of your emergencies when, take care of your family first. So we'll work it out. So we've got these. Quizzes, I think somewhere I was reading here the quizzes, some of them they like top quizzes and then they do them here and there and they kind of use them more as a penalty type thing. I like to use them as a learning thing, so those quizzes I'll just have the ones that'll be at the end of a section and help us get ready for the test. So we use them in that way. We've got our exams, we've got our final, so again we've got about 75% here. But that's kind of, in math, a lot of times if you've learned it, you should be able to do well on the test. We'll make the tests so that they're similar to there's some new review materials, because it's been about a year since I taught this particular class. I taught calculus for engineers last semester, and this is different. This is more conceptual. Okay, so we are less into algebraic manipulations and such. We're more conceptual about things. Okay. It says that it costs about 100. I think I looked it up somewhere. It was about 111. Is that about right? Anyone who's got it? Yeah, I think when you go online, I went through that. If you have any problems getting on there, the textbook people also are keeping some office hours here. You can get a hold of them and they'll help you register, because that's their product, and they'll be able to get you on anyway. And again, the goal is certainly by Thursday, hopefully, if weekend at the latest, get online, get this registered, and so then you can start doing the homework and stay on track. A lot of stuff in here. Again, I didn't write any of this, so I think that's good. The Canvas course so far, I got it in student mode, so the first part I got is the syllabus. I got my contact and office hours. I got an office in ECA 339. It's on the 3rd floor. One of the things is my schedule is I teach at 7:30 in the morning in the same room, and then I've got you guys at 6 in the evening. So I got a big open time. Also teach, continue to teach at Scottsdale Community College. So I do have one class in there, but I'm only on campus Tuesdays and Thursdays. But the afternoon, I'm just hanging out. So, because it's 45 minutes to get back home. So if you need me, let me know. We can make some afternoon times, but certainly, what did I put? I thought it was 5. Anyway, I guess I'll be in my office probably I'll be there from 4 till 6, but till class starts. But let me know if you need me, and I'll make sure I'm there. I've also got a link if we, I thought I got this out of here. Maybe I'm in the wrong, is it in the right class? I am. If we need to meet by Zoom, there's my Zoom link. Okay. Information about getting enrolled, the login page. There's also these calculator videos if you have a TI-84 or 83. What I will be using, I found one that I can get online, is this one, which runs like a TI-84. So that's the one there's a lot of resources for, so we'll be using it. You can use any graphing calculator, but you will need a graphing one. Will be very helpful for you for some of the things we do. If you use a different version, I may be able to help you. The Casio is really a good, for the money, a good calculator. The color one is like $80. The HP, not the HP, the TI-84 color version's like 180. So it saves you about $100, and it's good. It's got a menu system. It just works a little differently. But I've got both, and we'll get you through. Okay. And then this is what I've got posted this afternoon. I worked on. So I kind of got the calendar from the syllabus here, just up to the first exam. And then when we get to the second exam, I'll take that part. So just kind of a quick place to see where are we at and where we're going there. And then I've got the prior lectures. And these ones are ones I did when we were fully on lockdown. And so I've done them from home. And they're less interactive, but we will be using these same lecture PowerPoints because they come from the textbook company. So they help, they really steer us in the direction of the exam, of the homework. However, on these, since I was at home, I do have some like towards the end where I actually work through some of the homework problems. So you might find some of these to be helpful. Notice we don't do 10-2. In this class we did, but we've changed. So these are just, anyway, ones we're doing. So those will be the ones we do. And then chapter 11's in there. And when we get to the next setup, I'll do the same thing. I'll get it set up. But that's pretty much so far all I got us. And these are still showing. These I'll update because they've got some new review materials because they updated the exams and stuff. So I'll make sure all of this is updated. And notice this is where the prep quiz will be. And basically it'll be something you have multiple times to go through. Hopefully it's not just guessing. You finally got it because you guessed it, but you get it because you finally understood it. So that's the idea behind the quizzes. Will help you get prepared. Any questions so far?
What was the name of the other calculator that wasn't the TI one?
The Casio, it's I think it's a FX-50CG, something like that. I may have the letters, but I know it's a 50. I think it's CG. It's the one, and that, like I said, it was $80 new versus $180. And it's got a menu system. It works a little different, but what I've been able to do is when I need to do something, I go online and find a YouTube video, and they'll show me how to do stuff with it. But it's got some nice features. It's got some things that the TI doesn't, but it's also, the TI does some things that doesn't. So I'll try to show both in here. The tests we're going to take are, I believe, paper and pencil ones. So, and we do those in here during class time. But most of the preparation will be through the online system. Okay. Anything else? So, how many of you are in marketing? Marketing. Few. How many finance? More than, and then let's see how about business administration? There. What am I missing? What's the other big one? Business law. Okay.
Supply chain management.
Supply chain management. That's a big one, especially right now. Okay. What else? What's that? Information systems. How many of you? That's a big one. Only one? Okay. Well, how many of you are still you know it's business, but you're still kind of deciding? Keeping open. That's good. Always. Okay. Because some of the applications we'll use, sometimes I have a choice, and so I try to steer us in those directions. Okay. Well, I guess I put it off long enough. We're actually going to have to start talking about math. So. Okay. Okay, so on the first night, I think it's important to understand everything about calculus that you're going to need to know. I can do it in about 2 minutes, I think. So, how many of you have had an algebra class before? Silly question if you didn't. Had algebra. In algebra, what is one of the first things you start studying algebraically? What's the most famous equation? Linear equations, y equals mx plus b. It's got slope, right? And how do we get the slope of a line? What do we need to get the slope of a line? 2 points, right?
Rise over run.
Rise over run. So it's how much it rises.